I wrote this piece the other night about this because this whole thing is so frustrating. All right, so Jeremy Clarkson, he's hysterical, and I loved Top Gear, I love Grand Tour, and I like watching Clarkson's farm. Shockingly, I have learned so much about the stupid, just ridiculous restrictions that Britain puts on farmers. It is crazy. I don't know how farmers make a living in Britain. It's crazy. So during lockdown, I became a huge fan of him because I watched Top Gear and I watched Grand Tour and his Green Acres inspired Clarkson's farm thing, which, you know, is he's hysterical. And he's been a commentator on a lot of things, not just like anything that has to do with auto or now animal husbandry or farming or anything like that. So I mean, it wasn't out of his wheelhouse, and I only talk about this stuff if it affects me or you. And so I don't, like I said, I don't follow the royal garbage, but he wrote this column where he said that he hoped that suitcase chick who was on that game show, the briefcase, which briefcase do you want? That game show?
Deal or no deal.
Oh, it's that one?
Yeah.
Deal or no deal? Right. Is that the one with all the briefcases? Yeah. Okay. So he wrote this column in the Guardian about that whining ginger, Spare Us, and his wife Megan, the suitcase girl, on the Deal show, and he said that he wanted her basically Cersei's Walk of Atonement from Game of Thrones. He said he was, quote, dreaming of the day when she's made to parade naked through the streets of every town in Britain while the crowds chant shame and throw lumps of excrement at her. And he added, everyone who's my age thinks this way. Everyone who isn't his age, I think, thinks that way. So everybody immediately, the woke scolds, there is no joke here. This is so bad. And he said that he hated Megan and that he hated her on a cellular level. And he's all very tongue-in-cheek. He's prone to hyperbole because that's what he does. I mean, anybody who thinks that this isn't tongue-in-cheek does not know Jeremy Clarkson. It's just so stupid. Anyway, all these people who are so desperate to throw themselves on the altar, they sit here and they lie prostrate on the floor in front of the altar of wokery because they're so eager to prove their merit that way because they lack any kind of measurable talent. So they got real mad at him over this. And then that whining ginger who's been out there, his book, it's called Spare Us. Have you seen it? Spare Us. It has his big old whiny face on the cover. And they put extra hair on his head. That was nice that they did that for him. He and his wife, Megan, decided, that's her name, they immediately saw it as an opportunity to deaccelerate their growing irrelevancy and play victims again, right? So he apologized for it. He put this nice apology on Instagram, which I would not ever do. I don't think he did anything wrong, actually. He wrote, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he had said he was sorry and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, what's the point of the apology? Like, what else can you do? And I don't know, maybe he did it because his daughter complained about his column or the woke scolds or whatever. But Spare Us, they decided, they put out this haughty refusal. They refused his apology and they shoved it out to that egregiously over-manicured mannequin that they call the spokesperson. What's his name? He's named after the bacteria in that tea. SCOBY. To wring even more attention out of this. And so they wrote, blah, 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 that it's his pattern of writing articles that spread hate rhetoric, dangerous conspiracy theories, and misogyny. And so they refused his apology. I thought it was funny that they were talking about misogyny, considering that Megan was a main character on, she gave a main character a BJ on 90210 and was only credited as hot girl on the pilot episode. But, you know, let's hear more about spreading dangerous misogyny while rejecting an apology that neither of them merited. Oh, and wasn't he the guy also who cosplayed as a Nazi while using a slur to describe his fellow soldier from Pakistan? You know, if he wants to talk about hate rhetoric. Something like that. So now Amazon's going to likely part ways with Jeremy Clarkson after the final commission shows go to air. And they said that they're probably not going to do any more Clarkson's Farm. They're going to finish the grand tour, that all the things that have already been commissioned. But it looks like they said he won't be appearing in any new shows on Prime Video beyond 24, though there's a chance that the final grand tour episode could carry over into 25. So when the cancel culture mob demands an apology, they don't actually want an apology. They want fealty. And they want destruction. That's what they want. There's no I've written about this. There's no chance for redemption. There's no chance for grace. You're forever canceled. And like I said, it's usually for something far less worse than anything the mob itself has ever done. Like the gall of the Nazi cosplaying, racial slur using Harry spare us, thinking he's too good to accept an apology over a tongue-in-cheek editorial. They've been criticized by everybody, from BLM, who criticized them, and Nelson Mandela's granddaughter. They accuse them of trading on race to further themselves. And all they do is create these like stupid name groups like Archwell. They don't do anything beyond poses like this dollar store philanthropy. They produce these horrifically meandering podcasts that confuse the word archetype with stereotype. And the hysterical irony of it is that his book is only selling not because he's a good writer or storyteller. It's because of whose loins he was birthed. That's it. So there's zero redeeming value to catering to the two of the most privileged people to ever walk the face of the earth, especially at the expense of a good-natured and actually talented Brit that we like better. So just saying, didn't we fought one war to disregard the monarchy? So shrugging off spare us and Megan seems like nothing in comparison, really.